Okay, we're on to part 3. Wrapping up our Google Sheets. And get these print ready now. So it's a pretty quick video. At this point, you have data. There it is. And you have created a few graphs. Now, I went with 4. You might have 3. But here, what you'll notice is we need to format these so everything looks nice. And one of the ways I recommend doing it, I actually use the default size of the graph that Sheets gave me. I didn't stretch them at all. But they tend to lay them over top of each other, something like this. So what you can do is actually lay them out like tiles over here on the side. That's what I did. Just like this. Okay, good. Now, one of the things you want to do is put some titles on your graphs. So, come over here. We can zoom in a little bit. First graph is done, but let me show you how to do it because yours is not done yet. Whenever you need to edit, you can either just right-click, edit. It's even easier. Hit these 3 dots. Edit chart. Boom. Window pops open on the right there. And so we just want to customize. The fundamental setup is done. Customize. And what we want to do is add titles. So, of course, titles are naturally in the Chart and Axis Titles menu. Chart title. Yours will be blank right now. You'll have something like this. There'll be nothing written up here. So, come in here. Our first graph is actually distance. Distance versus time. Good. Chart title done. We also want an x-axis and y-axis label. So switch over to horizontal axis. Yours will have nothing. It'll look like this. So you put in there time, put the unit, second in parentheses. And we need a vertical axis title. So yours at the moment will have nothing written here. So our vertical axis is just distance, and the unit is centimeter. Done. You're going to repeat this process with the other 2 or 3 graphs. So the distance graph, right beneath it, I put the slope graph. The slope of distance is actually speed. So I'm already set over here. My vertical axis title, I'll call that speed, and that is in centimeters per second. Remember, the distance is in centimeters, so the speed is in centimeters per second. I want my horizontal axis, that is time. Put that in seconds. And then I want the chart title, speed versus time. Done. Now we can use our little bar over here, scroll over. Let's go up to our slope of slope graph. Chart title it's on right now, it's where we left off. Slope of slope, the distance is actually acceleration. Acceleration versus time. Done. Put the horizontal axis, time in seconds. Done. Put your vertical axis. Acceleration in not meter per second, sorry, but centimeter per second. You can put the little shift 6, little up caret, squared. And there we go, it's on. Good. Last graph, if you did the jerk graph, here it is. Vertical axis title. This one is actually jerk, which comes in units of centimeter per second cubed. The horizontal axis title will be time in seconds. And then we still need the chart title, jerk versus time. All right, good. We can close this. All of our graphs look nice. Everything is good to go. Let's zoom out. And so here we have our data, and we have our 4 graphs. Now, I asked you to print this up, and you got to be able to look at it. You got to be able to write on it, see what you're dealing with. So to print it all on one page is a little tight. If you went and print this, let me cut this off. If you went to just naturally print this, you get something like this. And that's not so good for analysis. It's hard to see what's going on there. So one of the things you can do is actually make your own page breaks, custom page breaks. Before we get to that, let me show you the headers and footers, pardon me. So yours actually will look like this. What you can do with your headers and footers, put the workbook title. Hopefully it will have your name up here and video motion template. And then the sheet name, Lab 2.3 fan card acceleration. Good. You can even put the date and even the time if you want. Not a bad idea to put all those things in there. Heck, you can even add page numbers. Fantastic. So once all that extra information's in there, we don't want to print everything on one page. So what we can do is introduce custom page breaks. Let's turn those on and click Edit. Now, I've already messed around with these, but basically, you'll have something that naturally defaults so that these page breaks are kind of in funny spots like this. And so if you try to print it, confirm those, you see you get these half on, half off sort of graphs, and that's not what we want. So go back to your edit. What you can do is drag them where you want them. Now, Sheets will line these up with the column breaks and the row breaks. So that's why it's nice to actually lay your graphs out in that way. Notice I have a little gap between M and N, and this little row here is a gap. So I drag this break over to the end of my data. I'm going to drag this break over to in between my graphs, in between rows M and N. So that's good so far. Now, vertically, I could put a break here, but it's going to mess up my graph. I'm just getting this all the way to the bottom. U2, all the way to the bottom. Now let's try this. Confirm the break. See what it looks like. Page 1 looks nice. Got a little 1 down here. Ooh, page 2 has 2 of the graphs. That's nice. We got a little room for some analysis over here on the side. Page 3 looks nice. A little analysis room on the side. Perfect. So then you hit next. And this thing is ready to print. You can see it here. Exactly what you want. It's got all the information, the headers and footers. If you have the option of color, that's nice. If you didn't want to print all the pages, maybe you only want the data right now, the graph still needs some work, you can go to Custom and select just page 1. Or, of course, you can go back to all. Mine look good right now. Whatever it is, click Print, and you're good to go. So that's basically how you wrap this up, hand this in, and then we can do some analysis on the paper. Excellent.